All right, welcome back to Sidewalks Entertainment. Well, today we are catching up with two of the stars of the modern day reimagining of the beloved 90s sitcom, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I definitely remember growing up watching this iconic show. Well, this reimagined version called Bel-Air is taking a dramatic turn on Will's complicated journey from the streets of West Philadelphia to the gated mansions of Bel-Air. I am super excited to have the talented actors Cassandra Freeman and Coco Jones joining us today. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks. Hello, San Francisco.
Well, first off, before we get into Bel-Air, which is an amazing project, by the way, I have to ask, when did you both find or realize your calling as artists?
That's a good question. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I think probably in high school. Yeah, I'm like that story where you go to the art school because the kids in middle school, used to pick on me so much. So I was like, I heard that there's an art school where everyone's really nice to you. And so I auditioned for acting and for music because I could play like the xylophone and the oboe and all these things. I was that kid, I know. And I got into acting, and acting was the first time where I felt like this transcendent moment of, humanity, and it's philosophical. And so, yeah, since I was like, 14.
Wow.
And for me, I've really been singing since before I could talk. Music was my number one, and that was the reason that I started acting at all, is because I was the kid who was like the opposite of camera shy. I would bother my mom, like, when's the next time I can get on a stage? Hello, what's next, what's next? She was like, just audition for this commercial. And so after that, I was like, oh, this is fun too. This feels like that same feeling I get when I sing, so I'm gonna do this too.
Oh, that's so great to hear, Coco. That sounds like my son too. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, well, for Coco, I know it seems you've just started out, but you've already accomplished a lot. So what projects or roles do you consider your rising moment as an artist?
It's actually funny because the movie that a lot of people know me from is a movie I did when I was 14. I did a lot with Disney Channel, and so I feel like I've kind of had a platform in a way since I was about like 12, 13. And so you kind of grow up in front of an audience, which is amazing. But I feel like this is like, in a way, a renaissance moment for me, because so many people have heard of me and they loved me in the movies that, I did as a kid, but now as an adult, getting to be on Bel-Air is like, I couldn't have designed it better myself for my life, just because I'm more who I am now. And everyone that's been watching me sees my journey, and hopefully it inspires them to keep going too.
Yeah, and for Cassandra, what roles or projects do you consider your rising moment or big break into the entertainment industry?
Oh, I went to NYU for grad school for acting, and like a week or two before I graduated, I booked a movie called Inside Man, and I played Denzel Washington's love interest, and Spike Lee was the director, and that pretty much catapulted my career into Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure did. I definitely remember that film. Well, now you both are taking on starring roles in the reimagined 90s Fresh Prince sitcom in a dramatic take called Bel-Air, which is an amazing project, but I have to ask if you both watched the original Fresh Prince before you came on to this project.
Of course. I mean, yes. It's funny how there's some things in the world, some TV, some movies, and some music that you feel like you're almost born into. And I feel like Fresh Prince is one of those things that's just in our collective consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a classic for me as well. I mean, it was a little before my time, but I remember my family watching it, and it's a staple, I feel like, in Black history.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
I mean, Fresh Prince was the first show that brought hip-hop into everyone's household in a mainstream sort of way. It's iconic for that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I kind of have a two-part question here. So when you first heard it was being recreated, what were your thoughts on the more serious tone of Bel-Air? And can you share a little bit about the versions or the serious versions of the roles you play as Aunt Viv and Hilary Banks?
Yeah, that's a lot of questions in that one. So the fastest way to say it is, when I heard about it, I thought it was a bad idea. But then when I finally saw the trailer, I thought this is a great idea. And then when it was time to actually interview for this job, I felt so claustrophobic from the original people, Daphne Maxwell and Janet Hubert's rendition of the character. And I think Morgan did such a great job in letting us know that we're here to make new shoes, not to fit into the old shoes.
Definitely.
For Coco, just to go back on the question, I mean, it was a bit of a serious tone, this version. Can you share kind of maybe your thoughts on what you thought of this version and a little bit about your role?
Well, honestly, when you're auditioning a lot, you try not to get too attached to roles or to opportunities just in case you just unfortunately aren't the one. So when I did read the script, not the script, read the pilot and my sides and everything, I kind of was just assuming. Like, I wanted to, strategically assume what they were looking for. So I did play a lot of it similar to Karen and her version of Hilary. But then when I had more conversations with Morgan, I kind of got into his mind and I saw that he is literally a creative genius. And it's nothing that I assumed. And it's nothing that anyone is assuming about the show. It's so much more than the preconceived notions that I know I had coming into it. And I feel like a lot of the viewers have coming into watching the show.
Well, lastly, I wonder if you get to see Will Smith on set and if he has given you any advice as an artist in general or any input into your roles.
He's been so supportive. I mean, Will Smith and Westbrook, he's just been, Westbrook and Will Smith have been very hands-on in directing the course of this show. I mean, this is the show that catapulted him into world fame. And so to me, it's like, I feel like we're all wearing white gloves in an antique store trying our best to handle this thing. And one thing that Will Smith said was watching us put this together was like watching a high wire act. It's like we're acrobats. And he's like, at any moment, people are waiting for us to fall off. And he's like, yo, that first pilot, he's like, it's impossible not to love this show once you see it. So he's been a great cheerleader.
It's so true. And oh man, sadly we're out of time. I wish we could go over more here in this interview, but thank you so much. This is an amazing new project and thank you so much for sharing a little bit about it, and much continued success to you. And come on back and let us know about what you're up to.
Of course. Hey, bring me out there. Okay, we're ready.
Thank you.
All right, much continued success. Bye for now.
Thank you.
All right, thanks to our guests, Cassandra and Coco, for sharing their project of Bel-Air, an amazing show that you have to watch. Make sure you catch it over at Peacock.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit SidewalksTV.com.